All right, Miss Marley.
Yeah, so I go by Marley sometimes, real name Amaria. I'm from California, recently moved out here to Georgia about 5, 6, 7 years ago maybe.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know, it's been a minute.
You do a lot of great hairstyles and arts, and you're just a pretty interesting person. So tell us what you do and some of the things you do.
Awesome. Well, I am an entrepreneur and CEO and founder of the company You Know Art, spelled YEWNOH Art. I'm a mother to an almost 2-year-old son, and I'm just art everything. So fashion, hair, I do protective styles as a hair service as well. Work with all hair types, doesn't have to be straight or blow dried. We like to promote healthy hair. So here is my wonderful chunky munchkin, my 2-year-old son Armand. I do have my youngest sister with me. I did just recently do her hair. Yes.
Unbelievable. Hey, we got you okay? We got your hairstyle on video. That's a really cool hairstyle. All right.
Do you mind sharing with us like how your past is, or like what it used to be?
So my past, let's see, I grew up as a Hebrew Israelite, or that is what I was brought into, for about the first 7 years. The first 7 years of my life. And then after my parents divorced, we then moved from LA area to Sacramento area in California, then lived with my mom's sister. I like to say a closed-minded state of mind to a more open.
Sure.
And some may call it rebelling or doomed for hell,
Apostasy
for
or something like that.
for
Yeah.
thinking for yourself. But
Yep.
actually, it's one that should be promoted for thinking for yourself, critical thinking, logical thinking. And I started doing more so of that. I got comfortable with wearing pants that I wasn't allowed to wear when I was in that belief system. And really, again, just asking questions. I wasn't able to ask questions. How the church was set up was the men were in the front, the boys were behind, then the women were in the front, and then the girls were in the back. And that was how we were the order that we were allowed to raise our hands, talk, and really the men, even the boys, were supposed to be the ones teaching the females at home. So it was a lot of changes that happened after I chose to transition into my own being.
Okay.
Question growing up, because I've always had this fear of no matter what I do, I'm just gonna go to hell. And so I was always walking on eggshells.
Right.
And just being self-cautious about just all of my actions and who I'm friends with. And to me, it just did not make sense to think how I was raised of, the other nations, they're just doomed for hell, no matter if they do right or not.
Right.
And so
Right.
I was like, wait, so if I'm a sinner and I'm God's child, and there's someone who's not his child that's supposedly heathen or Edomite or Esau, whatever it is, and let's say they're a follower of God.
Okay.
But they're the ones that are not accepted into heaven. So that whole thing, I was just too confused with. So transitioning from that into spirituality, spiritualism, it was more so just thinking and vibing for happiness and joy. If I'm happy and if I'm in tune with myself, there's it's only a ripple effect. And if I wouldn't hurt myself, if I love myself, if I wouldn't treat myself in a terrible way, other people wouldn't be treated in a terrible way as well.
If you don't mind, I have like a quick question.
Yeah.
So like if something is going tough in your life, or like if you're going through a trial, like how do you balance that with like, I guess, do you just stay positive in your own self, or is there like something that you hold on to?
Yeah, so staying positive can be hard for some, but I believe it's like digging for gold. Literally, it may take time, it may take work, it may take effort, but you still have that goal in mind, and that's to find a piece of gold. So how I kept my positivity was remembering the 3 things that describe my ideal self.
Okay.
And the 3 things that describe my ideal self is excited,
Excited,
confident,
confident,
and balance.
and balance.
So, have you ever experienced moments where that runs out? Like, maybe the vacation didn't turn out right, or maybe somebody on the vacation got into an argument, and then the whole vibe was off. Or like, have you ever experienced like just all of that you hold on to kind of just goes away? Like, what happens in that?
So I will say, I will answer it in a different way. As I know that I'm capable of anything and everything. That's just my confidence. I may not know how it's going to work, but I just knew it's going to have to work. So I stayed with my aunt for a month, and then decided to stay with my ex for a month. Then everything is like a story. So let's see, and that was my most recent ex that I was in a relationship with, and it took a lot of humility to ask to stay with him, because I had to think of my child first, me second. Because if it was my decision, I'm not gonna ask, but I wanted my child to be in a safe space.
It's beautiful, beautiful. Hey, man. The day you stand before God, what's gonna happen? You believe in life after death, or what's going to happen? What is going to happen to you the day you stand before God? 200 years from now.
Right. Let's see. So, first question: thoughts about the afterlife.
Okay.
This has been a subject that has changed continuously for me over time.
Sure.
So in the beginning, it was what I was taught: heaven or hell.
Sure.
Whatever. And then my thoughts about what about the spirits that are lingering here and that haven't yet transitioned, because whether we believe it or not, there are activities that happen that we don't see, whether it's vibration. You could feel someone's hate or love across the room, even for the afterlife. My thoughts are, as of now, is really you go where you're ready for.
Okay.
To where you're ready for.
Okay.
So if you're here in flesh, this is what you're ready for. This is what you are being.
Okay.
And a human being, we're able to be anything. To the afterlife, I know that once we pass, of course, our spirit is going to go somewhere where it attaches. And that can be one of many things. Your spirit will do the same thing after you transition. So even if people's houses are haunted with their grandma visiting the kitchen every 3 a.m., getting that midnight snack that she used to do all the time,
I see what you're saying.
They're stuck in the pattern and they haven't accepted, how do you say, I wouldn't say they're not at peace, but they feel the need to continue the same pattern over again. Heaven or hell, or being presented before God.
Say hi, Miss Chris.
We're judged continuously, so the afterlife, it'll be just a period to the sentence.
Okay.
Because for one, I feel like we are our number one critics.
Okay.
So for Judgment Day, it'll be as natural as death. And really, altogether, I feel like in order to, one of my favorite things from what Jim Carrey said, you gotta be heaven to see heaven.
You gotta be heaven to see heaven.
The day that I see God, I will know that, well, I did my job right.
Okay.
Because, in order to see you, I gotta be you. I gotta be healing. I gotta be all that. So
That up was like, think about your artwork. So what if your artwork jumped off the page and like just ran and did all these things, and people were praising the artwork, but they never came back and praised you. You were the one who created this artwork, but everybody was like praising that, like the creation. So sometimes we do have our own, like you said, God does give us our own wisdom, but it comes from Him.
Yeah.
So we give the glory back to Him. Yes, we
Gratitude.
do.
Definitely show gratitude.
Yeah.
Everything.
Like we do have that free will. Like you have the choice: are you going to obey or disobey? But sometimes we just get so focused on like the things that we want, the things that our heart is telling us, and we don't always go back and give that glory back to Christ or to God.
Yeah.
So it's like with your artwork, if it was to go and just do its own thing, and people started praising the artwork, but they never came back and praised you for it, and you were the one who created the artwork.
Yeah.
So like you said, like God gives us His wisdom, and He gives us like this loving heart and this gratitude, but we never go back and praise Him for it.
Yeah, I would say many don't go back. I wouldn't say like we never go back, and that's where balance comes in. You have to always give gratitude for what comes to you, for this interview and everything. I definitely appreciate it.